Welcome. Today we're tackling 90 core tree biology terms for your certified arborist exam. Play it through, test your memory, and lock it in. Term number 1. Tree biology quiz. How do autumn leaves detach so cleanly? The term is abscission zone. Definition: the area at the base of a leaf, petiole, or small branch where cellular breakdown leads to drop. Explanation: the built-in snap-off seam at the base of a leaf stem that dissolves, so leaves fall off cleanly in autumn. Tree biology quiz. Where do trees drink 90% of their soil water? The term is absorbing roots. Definition: fine, fibrous roots that take up water and minerals, mostly found in the top 12 inches of soil. Explanation: the tiny, fibrous root threads right near the surface that do 90% of the drinking and nutrient uptake for the tree. Tree biology quiz. Where do emergency sprouts come from after topping? The term is adventitious bud. Definition: a bud arising from a place other than a leaf axil or shoot tip, often due to hormonal triggers. Explanation: emergency backup buds that form unexpectedly out of bark or roots after severe injury, topping, or heavy stress. Tree biology quiz. Why do some trees grow roots above ground? The term is aerial roots. Definition: above ground roots, usually adventitious in nature. Explanation: roots exposed in open air, like banyan trees or mangroves, used for support or gas exchange in wet soils. Tree biology quiz. How are broadleaf flowering trees classified? The term is angiosperm. Definition: flowering plants with seeds enclosed within an ovary, includes monocots and dicots. Explanation: flowering plants and broadleaf trees, hardwoods like oak, maple, fruit trees, that enclose seeds inside fruits or nuts. Tree biology quiz. What pigment turns fall leaves bright red? The term is anthocyanin. Definition: red or purple pigment responsible for those colors in some plant parts. Explanation: plant pigments that generate vivid red, purple, and burgundy fall foliage colors. Tree biology quiz. What leads length growth at the tip of a stem? The term is apical bud. Definition: a bud at the tip of a plant stem, also called a terminal bud. Explanation: the lead bud sitting at the very tip of a branch, controlling length growth. Tree biology quiz. Why do pine trees grow like Christmas trees? The term is apical dominance. Definition: condition in which the terminal bud inhibits the growth and development of the lateral buds on the same stem. Explanation: the top tip controlling lower branches, telling side shoots don't grow taller than me, giving trees like pines a Christmas tree shape. Tree biology quiz. What biological engine lengthens stems and roots? The term is apical meristem. Definition: the growing point in buds and at the tips of shoots and roots. Explanation: the active growth engine at stem and root tips, making branches grow longer and roots reach deeper. Tree biology quiz. What is the official science of tree care? The term is arboriculture. Definition: the practice and study of the care of trees and other woody plants in the landscape. Explanation: the professional trade and science of planting, pruning, maintaining, and protecting individual landscape trees. Tree biology quiz. Which hormone controls directional tree growth? The term is auxins. Definition: plant hormones that promote or regulate growth, primarily produced in shoot tips. Explanation: primary growth hormones produced in tip buds that suppress lower side branches and direct phototropic growth. Tree biology quiz. How do nutrients move up and down the trunk? The term is axial transport. Definition: longitudinal movement of water, minerals, or photosynthates within a tree. Explanation: up and down traffic of water, minerals, and food along the vertical axis of the trunk. Tree biology quiz. What is codit? Wall 4 in tree defense. The term is barrier zone. Definition: chemical and anatomical barrier formed by the cambium in response to wounding, wall 4 in codit. Explanation: codit, wall 4, the strongest defense boundary formed by new wood to lock out decay after a trunk wound occurs. Tree biology quiz. Where does fresh wood grow every single year? The term is cambium. Definition: a layer of meristematic cells located between the phloem and xylem that gives rise to both. Explanation: The ultra-thin growing seam under the bark that builds fresh wood, xylem, inside, and inner bark, phloem, outside. Tree biology quiz. What primary fuel builds wood cell walls? The term is carbohydrate. Definition: chemical compound, CHO, produced by plants. Sugars, starches, cellulose, lignin. Explanation: energy-rich chemical compounds manufactured by trees to build wood structure and store fuel reserves. Tree biology quiz. What makes autumn foliage look bright yellow? The term is carotenoid. Definition: yellow, orange, or red pigment in plant parts. Explanation: plant pigments responsible for bright yellow, orange, and gold autumn leaves when green chlorophyll fades. Tree biology quiz. What water pressure prevents leaves from wilting? The term is cell turgor. Definition: pressure exerted by water inside the cell against the cell wall, keeping the cell firm. Explanation: internal water inflation pressure keeping cells firm, like a full water balloon keeping leaves crisp rather than wilting. Tree biology quiz. What tough polymer forms wood cell walls? The term is cellulose. Definition: long-chain glucose polymer found in plant cell walls. Explanation: tough structural fiber chains forming the primary cellular building blocks of wood tissue. Tree biology quiz. What makes leaf cells green and traps sunlight? The term is chlorophyll. Definition: the green pigment necessary for photosynthesis captures energy from the sun. Explanation: the green solar collector inside leaf cells that captures light energy from the sun. Tree biology quiz. Where inside a plant cell does photosynthesis occur? The term is chloroplast. Definition: specialized organelle within cells that is the site of photosynthesis. Explanation: microscopic solar power stations inside plant cells where photosynthesis takes place. Tree biology quiz. How do trees seal internal rot and decay? The term is codit. Definition: acronym for compartmentalization of decay in trees. Explanation: the four-wall biological model explaining how trees create internal defense walls to seal in rot and decay. Tree biology quiz. Do tree wounds heal or wall off damage? The term is compartmentalization. Definition: natural defense process, where trees create chemical/physical boundaries to limit decay. Explanation: a tree's strategy of walling off damaged wood internally rather than healing or replacing lost tissue like human skin. Tree biology quiz. What layer builds protective outer bark? The term is cork cambium. Definition: lateral meristem from which the protective outer layer of bark, phloem, is formed. Explanation: the outer bark-making factory that produces tough bark tissue to protect against sun, weather, pests, and fire. Tree biology quiz. What waxy layer stops leaf water loss? The term is cuticle. Definition: waxy layer outside the leaf epidermis that reduces water loss and protects against pests. Explanation: a waxy waterproof rain jacket coating over leaves that prevents water loss and deters pests. Tree biology quiz. Which hormone stimulates cell division and buds? The term is cytokinins. Definition: plant hormones involved in cell division and leaf expansion. Explanation: growth-stimulating hormones that promote cell division and spur side bud growth. Tree biology quiz. Why do broadleaf trees drop foliage annually? The term is deciduous. Definition: trees or plants that shed all foliage annually. Explanation: trees, like oaks and maples, that drop all leaves every autumn and grow brand new ones every spring. Tree biology quiz. Why do shade oaks spread wide instead of tall? The term is decurrent. Definition: tree growth habit characterized by a rounded or spreading crown, often broader than tall. Explanation: a wide, rounded oak or shade tree shape where main branches branch out widely rather than following one dominant stem. Tree biology quiz. How do general cells become specialized wood? The term is differentiation. Definition: process where cells become specialized for various functions. Explanation: cellular specialization, the process where general growing cells turn into specialized wood, bark, or leaf tissue. Tree biology quiz. How are water pipes scattered in maple wood? The term is diffuse porous. Definition: pattern where vessels are distributed evenly throughout the growth ring. Explanation: wood structure, like maple or birch, where water pipes are small and evenly scattered across annual rings. Tree biology quiz. How do trees survive winter freezing temperatures? The term is dormant. Definition: in a period of inactivity or rest. Explanation: winter hibernation state where trees pause growth to survive freezing or dry conditions. Tree biology quiz. Why is spring wood lighter and wider? The term is early wood. Definition: portion of a growth ring formed in spring, characterized by large diameter, thin-walled cells. Explanation: spring wood made of wide, thin-walled water vessels, built to carry heavy spring water flows. Tree biology quiz. Why do stress sprouts burst out of tree trunks? The term is epicormic shoot. Definition: shoot arising from a dormant bud or newly formed adventitious tissue. Explanation: rapid growing water sprouts breaking out from trunk bark due to heavy pruning, stress, or sudden sunlight. Tree biology quiz. What structural group includes broadleaf hardwoods? The term is eudicotyledon. Definition: flowering plants having net-veined leaves and 2 seed leaves. Explanation: broadleaf flowering trees, dicots, with branching leaf veins and dual seed leaves. Tree biology quiz. Do conifers ever shed their needles? The term is evergreen. Definition: plant that does not shed all foliage annually, but progressively over years. Explanation: conifers and broadleaf evergreens, pines, hollies that hold needles year-round, shedding old foliage gradually. Tree biology quiz. What causes a spire-like Christmas tree shape? The term is excurrent. Definition: tree growth habit characterized by a strong central leader and upright, pyramidal crown. Explanation: a Christmas tree shape like pines, firs, spruces, with one clear central trunk reaching straight up. Tree biology quiz. What gives timber its extreme structural strength? The term is fiber. Definition: thick-walled cell providing strength to wood. Explanation: tough, dense wood cells that give timber its mechanical strength and stiffness. Tree biology quiz. What is the correct botanical name for palm leaves? The term is frond. Definition: large, divided leaf structure typical of palms. Explanation: the large fan-like or feather-like leaf structures of palm trees. Tree biology quiz. How do roots always know to grow downward? The term is stiotropism. Definition: plant growth response to gravity, positive for roots, negative for shoots. Explanation: gravity response. Roots grow downward into earth, bulbous, while stems stretch upward against gravity. Tree biology quiz. How do arborists chemically slow canopy growth? The term is growth regulator. Definition: compounds, natural or synthetic, that affect plant growth and development. Explanation: natural or synthetic chemical sprays used by arborists to slow canopy growth, boost root growth, or manage size. Tree biology quiz. How can you tell a tree's age from a stump? The term is growth rings. Definition: visible rings of xylem. In temperate zones, they represent 1 year of growth. Explanation: annual concentric growth rings seen on a cross-section of wood, counting each year of a tree's life. Tree biology quiz. What gatekeeper cells control leaf stomata? The term is guard cells. Definition: pair of specialized cells that regulate the opening and closing of stomata. Explanation: twin gatekeeper cells on leaves that inflate or deflate to open or seal leaf pores. Tree biology quiz. Why are conifers called naked seed plants? The term is gymnosperm. Definition: plant with exposed seeds, usually within cones, conifers. Explanation: seed plants without flowers, pines, spruces, firs, whose seeds develop on open cone scales. Tree biology quiz. What dark central core anchors a tree trunk? The term is heartwood. Definition: central dead wood in a stem, often darker and more decay-resistant than sapwood. Explanation: the dark, non-living wooden core of a trunk filled with natural chemical preservatives, serving as the backbone. Tree biology quiz. Why do tight V crotches snap in windstorms? The term is included bark. Definition: bark embedded in the union between branch and trunk, resulting in a weak structure. Explanation: bark pinched inside a tight V-shaped crotch, preventing wood bonding and creating high failure risk. Tree biology quiz. What is the term for a cluster of flowers? The term is inflorescence. Definition: A cluster of flowers. Explanation: a full arrangement or branch cluster of multiple blossoms on a tree. Tree biology quiz. What is the smooth stem space between leaf nodes? The term is internode. Definition: the region of a stem between two successive nodes. Explanation: the smooth stem space between two leaf joints or branch attachment points. Tree biology quiz. How do side roots anchor trees in heavy soil? The term is lateral root. Definition: root that arises from the pericycle of a parent root. Explanation: side roots branching horizontally outwards from main roots to explore soil and anchor the tree. Tree biology quiz. Why is summer wood denser than spring wood? The term is late wood. Definition: portion of a growth ring formed in summer. Cells are small diameter with thick walls. Explanation: summer wood formed with smaller, thick-walled cells designed for structural support rather than fast water flow. Tree biology quiz. Where do dormant buds sleep above leaf stems? The term is leaf axil. Definition: edge of a leaf petiole where it meets the stem. Explanation: the upper notch or crotch where a leaf stem joins the twig, housing a dormant bud. Tree biology quiz. What are the primary solar panels of a tree? The term is leaves. Definition: the main photosynthetic organs of plants, responsible for manufacturing food through photosynthesis. Explanation: the solar panels of the tree that gather sunlight to produce energy and sugars. Tree biology quiz. How do inner bark tissues breathe air? The term is lenticel. Definition: small opening in the bark that permits gas exchange. Explanation: tiny bark pores or breathing slits that allow air into living inner trunk tissue. Tree biology quiz. What natural cement hardens wood cell walls? The term is lignin. Definition: organic substance that strengthens secondary cell walls and reduces decay susceptibility. Explanation: nature's glue to cement that hardens wood cell walls, giving wood its rigidity and natural rot resistance.
Tree biology quiz. Can you locate a tree's growth engine? The term is meristem. Definition: undifferentiated tissue in which active cell division takes place, found in root tips, buds, cambium, and cork cambium. Explanation: the tree's active stem cells where new tissue is created to grow taller, wider, or extend roots.
Tree biology quiz. Why are palm trees botanically closer to grass? The term is monocotyledon. Definition: plant with an embryo having one single seed leaf, e.g., palms, grasses. Explanation: plants with single seed leaves and parallel veined leaves like palms, bamboo, and turfgrass. Tree biology quiz. Why do trees rely on subterranean fungi? The term is mycorrhizae. Definition: a symbiotic relationship between fungi and roots that aids in the uptake of water and minerals. Explanation: beneficial root fungi acting like an expanded root network, swapping gathered soil nutrients and water for tree sugars. Tree biology quiz. Where do leaves and side branches attach to twigs? The term is node. Definition: point on a stem where leaves or branches are attached. Explanation: a joint on a twig where leaves, buds, or side branches attach. Tree biology quiz. How does soil water enter root membranes naturally? The term is osmosis. Definition: diffusion of water through a semi-permeable membrane toward higher salt concentrations. Explanation: natural water movement through cell membranes from pure water toward higher concentration areas. Tree biology quiz. Which living cells store energy inside sapwood? The term is parenchyma cells. Definition: living thin-walled cells active in photosynthesis, transport, and energy storage. Explanation: living, multi-purpose wood cells that store energy reserves, starches, and help heal minor wood injuries. Tree biology quiz. What slender stalk attaches a leaf blade to a stem? The term is petiole. Definition: the stalk of a leaf between the stem and the blade. Explanation: the slender stalk connecting a leaf blade to the twig. Tree biology quiz. How do leaves send sugar down to the roots? The term is phloem. Definition: vascular tissue that conducts carbohydrates, photosynthates, and growth regulators bidirectionally. Explanation: the tree's inner bark delivery pipeline carrying liquid leaf sugars, food, down to roots and across trunk tissues. Tree biology quiz. What is the actual sugar fuel produced by leaves? The term is photosynthase. Definition: the carbohydrate and sugar products produced during photosynthesis. Explanation: the actual packaged sugar and energy products created in the leaves that fuel tree growth and health. Tree biology quiz. How do trees convert sunlight into solid wood? The term is photosynthesis. Definition: the process that combines carbon dioxide and water in a reaction driven by light to produce sugars, chemical energy, and oxygen. Explanation: the chemical recipe where trees use sunlight, air, CO2, and soil water to create food while releasing fresh oxygen. Tree biology quiz. Why do trees lean toward open sunlight? The term is phototropism. Definition: influence of light on the direction of plant growth, growth toward light. Explanation: sun-chasing growth, trees leaning or bending toward available open sunlight. Tree biology quiz. What internal chemical messengers direct growth? The term is plant hormone. Definition: substance produced by a plant that affects physiological processes. Explanation: internal chemical messengers, auxins, cytokinins, directing growth, blooming, leaf drop, and root development. Tree biology quiz. How do branch tips and root tips stretch longer? The term is primary growth. Definition: root and stem growth in length occurring at apical meristems. Explanation: length growth, stems reaching higher and root tips extending deeper into soil. Tree biology quiz. How are tree varieties cloned or grown from seed? The term is propagation. Definition: process of increasing plant numbers, both sexually and asexually. Explanation: multiplying trees either by planting seeds, sexual, or using cuttings, grafting, asexual clone. Tree biology quiz. How do nutrients cross horizontally through wood? The term is radial transport. Definition: lateral movement of substances perpendicular to the longitudinal axis. Explanation: sideways movement of water and nutrients across trunk diameter from center to bark. Tree biology quiz. What cellular highway spokes radiate from a trunk center? The term is ray. Definition: parenchyma tissues extending radially across xylem and phloem for transport and storage. Explanation: cellular highway spokes radiating out from the center of a trunk to move and store energy laterally. Tree biology quiz. How do codit walls 1, 2, and 3 resist invading decay? The term is reaction zone. Definition: natural boundary formed chemically to separate damaged wood from healthy wood. Explanation: codit. Walls 1, 2, and 3. Chemical barriers created in existing wood to slow down invading decay. Tree biology quiz. How do trees burn stored sugars for life energy? The term is respiration. Definition: process by which carbohydrates are converted into energy using oxygen. Explanation: the tree burning stored sugars with oxygen to release energy for life and growth, opposite of photosynthesis. Tree biology quiz. Why do oak cross-sections show clear ring patterns? The term is ring porous. Definition: pattern where large diameter vessels are concentrated in the early wood. Explanation: wood structure, like oak or ash, with large water pipes concentrated in springwood, creating clear ring patterns. Tree biology quiz. What is the critical transition zone where a tree stem meets the roots? The term is root crown. Definition: area where the main roots join the plant stem, root collar. Explanation: the critical flare at ground level where the trunk base widens into major root tissue. Tree biology quiz. Where do palm trees sprout fresh roots for life? The term is root initiation zone. Definition: region at the base of a palm stem where lateral roots emerge. Explanation: the root flare base on palm stems where new fibrous roots constantly sprout throughout life. Tree biology quiz. What dense root network forms under palms? The term is root mat. Definition: dense network of roots. Explanation: a dense interwoven mesh of fine fibrous roots beneath a palm base or topsoil layer. Tree biology quiz. Which outer wood carries active spring groundwater? The term is sapwood. Definition: outer xylem containing living cells active in water transport. Explanation: the pale active outer wood rings carrying water up from roots and storing energy. Tree biology quiz. How do tree trunks and branches grow wider? The term is secondary growth. Definition: increase in root and stem girth, in diameter. Explanation: thickness growth, trunks, limbs, and structural roots growing wider each year. Tree biology quiz. What causes internal timber splitting along growth rings? The term is shake. Definition: separation of wood at growth rings, ring shake, or raise, radial shake. Explanation: internal wood splitting along growth rings or rays caused by extreme storm flexing, internal stress, or decay. Tree biology quiz. Which plant parts consume more energy than they make? The term is sink. Definition: plant part that uses or stores more energy than it produces. Explanation: the tree's energy, consumers or storage vaults like developing roots, fruit, and growing tips that drink up sugar rather than making it. Tree biology quiz. How do trees reach deep groundwater during a drought? The term is sinker roots. Definition: downward growing roots that provide anchorage and take up water and minerals, especially during drought. Explanation: deep vertical anchors growing down from lateral roots like structural pilings, drinking deep groundwater during harsh droughts. Tree biology quiz. Which part of a tree is a sugar-producing factory? The term is source. Definition: in physiology, a plant part that produces carbohydrates, primarily mature leaves and green bark. Explanation: the tree's sugar factories mostly mature green leaves that manufacture fuel through photosynthesis to feed the plant. Tree biology quiz. How do tree leaves breathe and conserve water? The term is stomata. Definition: small openings on the undersides of leaves that allow for gas exchange and regulate water loss. Explanation: microscopic breathing pores on leaves that open to take in carbon dioxide and close up during extreme heat or drought. Tree biology quiz. How do trees and fungi form win-win partnerships? The term is symbiosis. Definition: biological association of two organisms beneficial to one or both without causing harm. Explanation: nature's win-win partnership, like tree roots swapping sugars with soil fungi for extra minerals and water. Tree biology quiz. What is a young tree's primary vertical anchor? The term is taproot. Definition: central vertical root growing directly below the main trunk that may or may not persist into maturity. Explanation: a seedling's vertical drill root growing straight down like a giant carrot to anchor the stem and reach early groundwater. Tree biology quiz. What climate zone experiences 4 distinct seasons? The term is temperate. Definition: region between tropics and permafrost, zones with varied temperature, ranges permitting seasonal plant growth. Explanation: climate regions with 4 distinct seasons where deciduous trees shed leaves to hibernate through freezing winters. Tree biology quiz. What leads length growth at the tip of a stem? The term is terminal bud. Definition: bud at the tip of a twig or shoot responsible for length growth, also called an apical bud. Explanation: the leader bud sitting at the very tip of a twig that controls length growth and regulates side branches. Tree biology quiz. How do pine trees transport water without wide vessels? The term is tray shed. Definition: elongated, tapering xylem cell that is dead at maturity and adapted for support and water transport. Explanation: microscopic hollow straw, like wood cells, stacked end to end that strengthen conifer timber while moving sap. Tree biology quiz. How do tall trees pull water 100 feet upward? The term is transpiration. Definition: the loss of water vapor from the leaves, primarily through the stomata. Explanation: tree sweating. Water evaporating through leaves, creating suction that pulls groundwater all the way up from roots like drinking through a straw. Tree biology quiz. How do trees know which way is up and where the sun is? The term is tropism. Definition: tendency of growth or variation of a plant in response to an external stimulus, such as gravity, geotropism, or light, phototropism. Explanation: a tree's automatic steering mechanism, bending stems toward sunlight or steering roots down into the soil in response to environmental cues. Tree biology quiz. How do broadleaf trees move massive amounts of water up their trunks? The term is vessel. Definition: end-to-end, tube-like, conducting cells in the xylem of angiosperms. Explanation: Microscopic, wide water pipes stacked end to end like interconnected drinking straws inside hardwood trees to quickly transport sap from roots to leaves. Tree biology quiz. What is a tree's upward water highway? The term is xylem. Definition: vascular tissue that transports water and dissolved essential minerals upward from the roots. Explanation: the tree's upward plumbing system, wood, carrying soil water and mineral nutrients from root to leaf. Thanks for studying with the Arborist-podcast. If you found this session helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it, and good luck with your prep.